Alright, y'all, things have been going crazy in the alien disclosure community. More and more information keeps getting poured out, and it's kind of hard to decipher at this point what's real and what's fake. As you all probably know, they debunked the alien footage I showed the other day in my video of the alleged alien behind the fence. A lot of big time newspapers and media companies are debunking the video, saying it's CGI. Now, I don't know, it's either here nor there. It's what it is, it's the narrative as the moment that it's fake. Do I believe that? Those of you that watch me know how I feel about debunked videos. We'll leave it there. But what's crazy is more people with Ring camera footage have been coming forward with alleged sightings of the UFO. Here's a couple of those videos.
Ring cam footage from another neighbor.
Then, out of nowhere, this creator on YouTube, who normally posts videos that get literally hundreds of views, that's it, on video games that he plays, starts posting videos about the UFO in Las Vegas. Then he goes on to say somebody sent him this Ring footage of an EBE, an extraterrestrial biological entity, that fits the description of what Angel, the original 911 caller, said. It immediately racked up like 1.5 million views. I mean, this guy had no traction. Then out of nowhere, his video in a matter of days gets 1.5 million views. Then recently, he posted today, just 4 hours ago, and he's already got 40,000 views. Just wild. I don't understand it. The only thing I can say is the Ring footage that he allegedly was sent is very interesting. I'm not going to share it though, because upon him sharing it, when he went to upload his last video, he was completely stripped of his monetization on YouTube after posting this alleged Ring video. He's tried to research the source, he can't find it, and he basically deems it as legit. I'm going to let you go ahead and go onto his site, check it out for yourself. I'm not going to post it here because I don't want to risk any type of demonetization. This, along with all kinds of whistleblowing going on in the military. Two different gentlemen who were former military have been whistleblowing on ETs and UFOs. One of them is 36-year-old David Grush, a former intelligence officer and an Air Force veteran. Some high-ranking government officials like the Inspector General are taking his claim very seriously and are going to be investigating it. His claim is that there's a top-secret military operation that seeks out wreckage of alien craft. They confiscate the craft and then reverse engineer it, making their own alien-type craft. These are then used to carry out unique military operations. Now, some of these operations seem to be somewhat controversial. That's where this gentleman comes in, Michael Herrera. He recently spoke at Dr. Stephen Greer's UFO disclosure event, and he let out a bombshell of information. His claim was that back in 2009, almost 14 years ago, while stationed in Japan, and he was part of the 7th Naval Fleet, and he was on the USS Denver. He was 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines, which was the most decorated infantry crew in the Marines at this time. His crew, while stationed, was then called on to do humanitarian operations out in the Philippines. This was called Operation Kasana. But while he was there, his superiors heard that there was an earthquake near Indonesia that may cause a tsunami. Where this earthquake hit was the western part of Sumatra, Padang City to be exact. So they called his ship, the USS Denver, and only his, which seemed odd, to go give relief in that area and help with a certain mission. This mission surrounded some possible family members of President Obama being within the city. Apparently there was a SEAL team there that was going to get them and extract them. But the reason they called in these gentlemen, it was a crew of 6, his crew, was because Indonesia is known for high terrorist activity towards United States military. But as he was briefed, he was told they were going to bring in medical supplies, food, etc. So they drop anchor and they get on the bird and fly to the southwest corner of the city of Padang. At the time, it was completely in rubble, fires, you name it, the worst case scenario. The pilot was then given information where he could drop them, and this was about 6 to 7 minutes away from where they were at. So they flew there. Once they deemed the landing zone clear, they dropped the Marines, but then told them that they need to get to high ground to survey the area. He had a little Panasonic camera on him. They climbed 300 meters, and he turns it on and begins to record, and as he's panning the area, he notices something sticking out like a sore thumb. This is an octagonal-shaped craft that seems to be floating just above the trees. At this point, they are baffled, they don't know what's going on, but they decide to push forward towards the object. After getting down the slope, they were now about 150 meters away from this craft. They all could blatantly see it. The chopper they flew in on could easily have fit 3 under it. He figured the craft to be 300 feet. It seemed to be matte gray, and have some sort of texture or design to it. Plus, it had a pyramid type structure at the very top of it. Again, the hum sounded like that of a guitar amp, very distinct, and it was floating about 20 feet above the ground. As you can imagine, they were all dumbfounded at what they were seeing. As they were observing, they were intercepted by a team of rogue soldiers that were dressed in all black. They had no military insignia on them whatsoever, black caps. They had the best of the best in weaponry, M4s with ACOGs and night vision scopes, night vision goggles, you name it, they had it. So it's obvious they were some special ops team because they had the best military equipment. There were 8 of them. He could literally hear their safeties flick off, and they were screaming at these men. And mind you, that these men all had American accents, basically asking who they are, what they're doing there, that they could kill them right now, and nobody would ever know, that they'd bury them in the jungle. As you can imagine, as he looked at he and his crew members were terrified. They all were. They pretty much thought there was a good chance they might not make it out of the jungle. That's when this team began patting them down, taking all their weaponry, etc. After doing this, they then told them to provide their military ID, which they keep in their left pocket. They knew exactly where their military IDs were. They took them out, they scanned them with their phone, and they put it into some directory that was already on their phone that would provide validity to these IDs. So as this was happening, they were watching what was going on behind them. There were 2 armored trucks, F-350s, with weaponry crates in each truck. They then noticed these containers. These containers seemed to be airtight and have tanks on the side of them that either were vacuum sealing it or providing oxygen. Apparently another whistleblower came forward to Dr. Greer and told exactly what those containers were and what was in them. Now, I'm not going to say here what was going on there. The trucks had 4 guys on each one, and they were unloading some cargo onto this platform. After doing that, they left. This whole time, the guys are still being searched, and one of them is saying stuff like, "Should we take them out? Should we take them out? What are we supposed to do? What should we do?" He said the craft then lowered down onto the cargo. It connected to it somehow and became one. The craft then floated up to the top of the trees, each corner of it illuminating a blue, red, or green light. He said as it rose up, it made no noise. It got just above the tree line, and then it shot off towards the ocean at up to 5,000 miles per hour. I believe it's faster than that. It did this without any rotor wash or rocket wash. The coconuts in the trees didn't move at all. None of the trees even budged. It just flew off at a ridiculous rate of speed. As this is happening, they're told to turn around, and they all thought they were done. After turning them around, they gave them all their stuff back, their ammo, their M4s. They just made sure they couldn't load them up or use them. And the men that were all dressed in black took off, and that was that. Eventually the men realized they could go. They went back to their ship. They were told not to say a word. So they got back to their ship. They talked to their superiors. They didn't say anything. They were given a short break where they could go to the town. It was kind of like a relief from duty. When they got back, Mr. Herrera realized that all of his stuff was gone. Each of them, their cell phones were taken. The camera that recorded the video, he had it buried in his locker. That was gone. Basically, any intel of what took place was stolen while they were in town. So somebody knew that this took place. Their encounter was known by somebody on that ship. The footage was never recovered, but what I believe took place here is 2 military branches that were not in opposition, but they wanted to do recon on each other. There was 2 military branches here, 2 superiors. Somebody knew what was going on with this craft and the cargo, so they wanted some recon on it. They set these guys up to do it. They didn't know what they were actually doing. They disclosed it as a humanitarian mission, but it was actually a recon mission of what was going on with this group dressed in all black in this craft. I believe it was intentional at the end of the day. This was an intentional encounter by a higher ranking official in the military, and it was a recon mission at the core of it. Pretty crazy stuff. It turns out that, and I've been saying this for a while, I believe that we do have reverse engineered craft, and we are using them. It's just, what are we using them for? Some people aren't sure it's for positive things. Now, is that true or not? I don't know. At the end of the day, very interesting stuff. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Stuff is wild out here. The alien stuff is crazy. I can't believe it's all happening right now. Why? Who knows? Just let me know what you think in the comments of all that's going on. Stay in the love, stay in the light, be kind to others. I am out.